Hi, my name's Holly Profit, and I'm going to take you through some basic interviewing questions today. So, the first question we're going to do is tell me about yourself. This is probably everyone's least favorite question because they don't really know how to answer. So, I'm going to take you through how to answer tell me about yourself in a very simple way. So, essentially, tell me about yourself should be a chronological overview of your education and your background and what led you to where you are today. So, we're going to highlight your education, what drove you to your interest in your career, and then we're going to end it with what you like to do in your spare time. I like to end it that way because then you're in control of how the conversation ends and it lets your interviewer know that you're ready for the next question. So let's start with educational background. So, when you do tell me about yourself, you like to give a brief intro of this is where I grew up, this is where I went to college, but you also want to give some other features of what has driven you and what accomplishments you've had during that phase of your life. In this example that I'll give you here in just a few, I'm going to give you some examples of some things I did in college that led me towards my interest of my career. Obviously, I'm not a physician, I'm a PhD. And so I'm going to model my educational background as if I were going to medical school and choosing a specific medical specialty. The next part of the conversation is how do you talk about yourself and build yourself up through these experiences that lend themselves to this specialty and experiences that you're wanting to have as a future resident or sometimes medical student. From there, you'll round it out with, and this is what I like to do in my spare time, like I said, so that you're in charge of how the conversation ends and how you want it to go. So let's take a shot. Okay, my name's Holly Profit. I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I went to Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri, where I double majored in business administration, marketing, and English literature. And I also got my prerequisites for medical school. When I was in medical school, I knew I wanted to be a physician, but I didn't really know why. And honestly, volunteering was what really got me interested in medicine and being a pediatrician. My sorority, actually, our philanthropy was reading is fundamental, and we would spend time at the Missouri School for the Deaf. And there I learned about different children with different backgrounds and different needs, and that individualized approach that those students need. So that had really driven my interest in being a pediatrician and learning about more about childhood development and how I could help in that. I was also a leader on campus. I was on SGA. I was the chair of our intramural group. And so I was in charge of scheduling all our referees and the games and all of those kind of things. Like I said, I was in a sorority and I was a leader all 4 years. And that really helped me develop the skills that I have today and really helped me to be a professional. From there, I did a master's program at the University of Arkansas before I went to medical school. In my master's, I really learned the importance of learning how to study and what it meant to be a professional student. I then went to medical school. And in medical school, I've continued my interest in spending time with children and volunteering. I did a summer after school program where I would work with children with developmental delays, and we would work on reading comprehension and different aspects that they needed, and also just to be a friend and support those children and their families. I really enjoyed that. I completed my clerkships in Northwest Arkansas, where I'm from, and I've really loved being back in the community that I've served and that I grew up in, and seeing those physicians that actually had a huge impact on my life when I was growing up. Now I'm looking forward to residency and being a resident in a place where I can learn and grow and be the best pediatrician that I possibly can. In my spare time, I just finished my first half marathon in May, recently become a runner. I have two dogs, Boyd and Ava. Ava's my running buddy, so we're enjoying that. And as I said, I went to the University of Arkansas, so on the weekends, I really enjoy watching SEC sports, mostly SEC football. So you can see that was a very short version of my educational background and history. And I ended with this is like what I like to do in my spare time. So I didn't end with the, well, this is me and it's awkward and going from there. So I encourage you, work through chronologically, where you grew up, what was your interest, what were the things you did in college, in medical school that really drove you to where you are now, and making that application. And then end it with what you like to do. Do you like to read? Do you like to watch movies? I also ride Peloton? Something that gives the folks that something to talk with you about your hobbies. I promise it's not as scary as you think. Some best practices are to have bullet points that you can write out. You never want to memorize any of this. You want it to be a conversation, but getting your points together and going from there. Give it a shot. I know you're going to be great.